This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. It's Wednesday, June 2nd. I'm Jeff here with Stephanie and Brandon. How you guys feeling? I haven't seen that cute face for a couple days.
Yeah, I got the chance to go home, did the Uncle of the Year thing. My cousin, they had the whole gender reveal. No, we didn't blow up half of Hampton, Virginia. We kept it civil.
And it was still
it's a girl. It was a girl, you know, another girl. But then you also get the pressure from the grandmother, your mother, and all. When you bring in the baby, we need to keep the gene flow going. We need to get the London last name keep flowing. I'm like, how do y'all two? how respect to you too.
Those are some NFL genes, though.
Yeah, and nice cheekbones too.
Brandon's family's gorgeous. If you ever watch his Instagram stories when he goes home, there's so many cute babies running around, boys, girls, everything. Yeah.
You'll
So
get there, buddy.
cute.
Take your time. Take your time. All right, guys, let's get to it. Matthew Perry called off his engagement. Who knew he was engaged? In a statement to People magazine, Matthew confirmed he and Molly Hurwitz broke up, saying, quote, "Sometimes things just don't work out, and this is one of them." He also wished Molly the best. The two had been engaged since last November. Matthew's health has also been a topic of interest since appearing on the Friends reunion special. In his speech, his speech appeared slurred, but that was reportedly due because he had an emergency dental surgery. So I don't know. I watched the special too. By the way, I really liked it. I thought it was great.
I actually watched it last night.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I loved it.
It brought back a lot of memories. I didn't realize how much it was part of me growing up. But let's stick with Matthew Perry on this.
Okay.
Did he seem a little off to you?
I mean, okay, so we all know, and as my DMs get filled, I didn't really watch a lot of Friends. I've seen it. I know who he is, obviously. I just thought, so I can't compare. To me, was he slurring or not? I don't have loads of reference because it's not my #1 show. But I did think he looked slightly larger on the jaw area. And I think if he's saying that it was due to emergency dental surgery, I'm not going to say I don't believe that, because I know when I had my wisdom teeth out, my face was out here too, and I was slurring for about a week.
What about the breakup, Brandon?
Look, I think that this premiere or this reunion, this special, is great for their careers, but I think it's terrible for him personally.
Really?
Absolutely. I mean, Stephanie, we haven't really heard much from all of them except Jennifer Aniston. She's always in the news. Haven't heard much from them. We know that he's had a past with addiction. True. We know that he's had failed relationships before. Yasmin Bleeth, Julia Roberts.
And we just saw him
on Raya on that dating app where Hollywood has now branded him that creepy old guy. Now you throw this in there. Now you throw in people saying, oh, is he drunk again? He's slurring his words. That can get to someone. So I think that personally, this will be great. This will be great for whatever projects he has coming out. But I think there's something going on, or there could be something going on inside of him where his real friends may have to go and make sure he's all right.
Well, let's give him the benefit of the doubt, like Stephanie said. Hopefully it is just dental surgery.
And he said as well that he was very open with his alcohol and painkiller addictions. But he said he didn't remember seasons 3 to 6, but there were way more seasons than that. So I'm hoping that's all in the past and he's moving forwards now.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Anna Faris is opening up about marrying at a young age and had some advice for her young son. She first married actor Ben Idra back in 2004 when she was just 27, but her most publicized relationship and breakup was to Chris Pratt, of course. The former couple have an 8-year-old son, Jack, and she recently used her own experience to drop a bit of a bombshell on her podcast. Take a listen.
If I could tell my 8-year-old son one thing that maybe he would stick to, I would really encourage him to not get married in his 20s.
It should be illegal.
Well, listen, you live and you learn, right? And then you pass on that experience. That advice might be good for some people, but maybe not others.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it depends on so many different things. My sister got married really young. She's been with her partner now. Well, they're the only boyfriend and girlfriend that they've ever had since they were literally about 11 years old. They've got a beautiful baby boy. They've been married for some time. They are so happy. It's unbelievable. Would I be happy if I was with the person I was with in my 20s? No. I've changed and been about 3 different Stephanies since then. So, you know, I wouldn't want to be married to the old Stephanie or the old person I was dating at that time, you know?
Yeah, I think when we give that advice, I think it's one thing if you give it to someone. Let's say if you because I look at what you say about your sister and your brother-in-law, that's an anomaly. Like that doesn't happen anymore in this day and age. I think that advice goes to people who kind of have like a simple life. And when I say simple, the little things make them happy in life. In Hollywood, married in your 20s? Absolutely not. You'll be divorced. You know, you're divorced 3 times before your 30s. Yeah, so it's one of those things where we can't paint it as a broad brush. But in Hollywood, if you're in this industry, absolutely not.
Well, yeah. Well, look at things like obviously J-Lo. She's been engaged multiple times. She's never actually like gone through with everyone that she's been engaged with. You know.
Yeah. Let's look at it though for like a normal person's perspective.
Yeah, okay.
You're from like a smaller town. Yeah.
And
you don't leave that town, you get married at a young age, and that's what you do. You have a family.
Course.
So that relates to a lot of people. When you're talking to Hollywood and Jennifer Lopez, nobody's relating to that.
Yeah,
No.
You know what I mean? So you can't
absolutely
relate
not.
to that. But but now with the internet and the reach, the temptation's a lot bigger, right?
Absolutely. You got to think about, so for instance, my grandparents were together their whole lives too. They got together when they were like 16, 17, and they both lived to like well into their 90s. And, you know, I think as well, times have changed so much. They didn't have the temptations. They didn't have all like the Ryas and the Hinges and the Tinders, all that. Like, you know, they didn't
Hinge
have.
is another one I've never
They
heard
didn't
of.
even have any of this
so
stuff.
much
And like
out
also
there.
like all this stuff on social media and like catfishing and people messaging and sliding in DMs and all of that.
I asked my grandma the other day, I was like, would you have swiped right on Papa back in the day? And she was like, swipe right? Like, I was like, all right, never mind.
Would you have got married?
No, well, here, I think this was a blessing. I met my wife 12 years ago, and that was right before the internet dating things, right? And I was 31.
Yeah.
So I never experienced any of the dating. I've never signed up for a dating site. I was never on those things. But it's definitely an influence. If I was dating someone for maybe a month or two, and then you're playing around on that, that's not good for your relationship.
You say it's a blessing. I know friends that would say it's a curse because once they got on it, that's when the relationship faltered.
Well, I'm not planning on getting on there. So there you go. We're going to end on a good note. Coming up on DBL, we're talking to actor and comedian Mike Epps. He's weighing in on cancel culture and how it's impacting comedy. Plus, which reality TV star is all banged up and looking like a mummy? Stephanie tells us what up next in What Up Wednesday.
Closed captioning provided by
Amazon's latest feature is making a lot of headlines because it will automatically enroll anyone who owns one of its devices into a program to share their internet connection. Let's connect the dots. The program is called Amazon Sidewalk. The company says a small portion of your internet bandwidth will be pooled together with small chunks from your neighbors. Amazon says it'll make its devices work better and help locate lost items. This affects people who have Echo devices, Ring floodlight, and Spotlight cameras. It all gets switched on June 8th. The whole point of this is to extend the range of low bandwidth devices. So if your network goes down, your Echo Dot can still work by sharing connectivity with neighbors who have similar devices. It will also help tile trackers work better. Those are the little devices designed to keep track of important items. They can use Amazon Sidewalk to be more efficient and accurate. Obviously, some folks have raised security concerns about this sharing situation. Amazon says it has multiple layers of privacy and security to protect your personal information. But bottom line, you also have the option to opt out. If you have a Ring device, go to the Control Center on the app or their website. If you have an Echo device, go to Settings in the Alexa app.
Welcome back to DBL. I'm Stephanie Jones, here to dish the week's best celebrity gossip. Like, what TV star is not flipping out over cosmetic surgery? And who does Aretha Franklin better, Jennifer Hudson or Aretha Franklin? It's What Up Wednesday. But first, we're heading to Malibu, where Courtney Cox and Ed Sheeran had their own little Friends reunion over the weekend. Let's take it back to an episode of Friends called The One with the Routine. 5, 6, 7, 8. Could Monica and Ross be any cuter? And now that everyone's talking about the Friends reunion, and I mean everyone, Courtney Cox and her former tenant Ed Sheeran got their old gang back together and performed the same routine, fairly spectacularly for a while. The unlikely pair were actually housemates back in 2013 when Ed lived rent-free in exchange for delivering tea and making beds. But from the looks of things, they were better at living together than nailing that final lift. Ouch. But guess who also made an unlikely splash on Twitter? Matt LeBlanc, who has become a huge meme in Ireland because of how he looked at the Friends reunion. One tweet explains that Irish Twitter is obsessed with how much he looks like everyone's uncle or cousin, but also warns that the rest of the world may not understand a single Irish reference. Another photoshops him into a lively pub in an apparent Irish sing-along complete with pints of Guinness, and another simply asked to say, "How you doing?" in Irish. Here's what's up. Yeah, I know Friends is a cultural phenomenon and I know it's beloved to millions, but no matter how many British songwriters or Irish tweeters get on the Friends action, you'll never make a fan out of me. Next, we're heading just down the road to check in on Jeff Lewis, who is recuperating from some surgery, but luckily does not seem to be flipping out about it. The real estate and reality TV star knows the pressures of needing to put your best face forward, so has no issues with going under the knife himself. Well, check out these funny photos he posted of himself after having lower eyelid fat repositioning surgery, which is meant to make him look more youthful and rested. As his adorable daughter tends to him with blankets, he rocks the frozen peas and headscarf look with the caption, "Recovery is going well." And to celebrate day 3 of recovery, Jeff treated himself to some sunshine while looking like a chic mummy. Here's what's up. You've got to love a guy who doesn't take himself too seriously, or at least not too seriously, for someone who just had elective cosmetic surgery and then tells the whole world all about it. Finally, we're heading to New York City, where vocal powerhouse Jennifer Hudson has outdone herself in her new role as no one other than Aretha Franklin. The highly anticipated trailer for Respect, we get a taste of what's to come as Jennifer Hudson channels the late Aretha only as she could do.
I got a single by this new chick named Aretha Franklin. To present Aretha Franklin.
Oh, few people could tackle the role of a legend like Aretha herself, but Jennifer, who you may remember winning an Oscar for her role in Dreamgirls, lent her voice and her acting chops to this biopic in homage to the late singer. Here's what's up. Jennifer Hudson already had my RESPECT, but let's just wait and see if she can fill out the shoes of music's original natural woman. That's it for this week's What Up Wednesday. We'll be right back.
We all know that movement is...
A viewer sent us an email that says they've seen multiple posts online that claim that COVID-19 has a 99.9% recovery rate. It's not true.
I don't know where that number comes from.
Our sources are Dr. Kausar Talat, an epidemiologist from Johns Hopkins University, Dr. Aditi Narukar, a physician from the Harvard Medical School, and the COVID-19 statistics from the CDC. The latest numbers for the CDC show of the more than 33 million cases in the United States, more than 595,000 people have died.
So you can say 98% of people who get COVID don't die, but 2% do. And those 2% are almost 600,000 people in the United States alone. And that's 600,000 family members and relatives.
However, our experts also say the number of COVID-19 deaths may be underreported.
One of the key reasons is because when the health system is burdened from surges, it's difficult to track which deaths were due to an emerging infectious disease, in this case, COVID.
Finally, if 99.9% of COVID-19 cases recovered, that would mean only around 3,300 people would have died. Instead, it's closer to 600,000 people that died. So this 99.9% claim is false. With your Verify, I'm Matt Gregory.
Welcome back to DBL. The legacy of great sitcoms continues with Mike Epps and his latest TV project, The Upshaws, on Netflix. We talked with Mike earlier in today's Chatting with the Stars.
Mike Epps, welcome to DBL. How are you?
Yes.
I'm good. How y'all doing? Y'all looking really good and snappy and flashy and fancy.
We tried. Snappy was for me.
Fancy was for me. Okay, so we're going to get into the Upshaws, but first, at the start of the pandemic, you became a girl dad again. So I wanted to wish you a congratulations. You now have 6 daughters total. I don't know how you do it. What are the best and worst parts about being a girl dad? I have 1 girl myself.
Well, you know, as you know, the little ladies are always expensive. They're not a cheap date at all, you know. But I love my girls, man. They keep me grounded. And, you know, when you got 6 daughters, you know, you always think about having a good place in heaven and a nice place in jail, you know. You know, you got to get the shotgun out. You got to get. I got 6 shotguns, you know. But it's beautiful having daughters. You know, you get a chance to see, you know, you see your mother and all your daughters and your aunts, and they're like extended families, and they all think they own me too, you know.
Oh, look at that picture! Wow,
that's how it should be. I love it.
I know.
Yeah, your girls. My daughter graduated 8th grade this weekend, and I was a mess. I was, even with the mask, you know, like when you crying so bad, like it's like you feel like you're distracting the ceremony before we get started. I just want to tell you really quickly, man, I've been doing stand-up for 13 years, and I toured with my buddy Bill Bellamy, who spoke super highly of you. I toured with him for a couple years. And,
that's my man. I love Bill.
Bill and Big E, I mean, 2 of the best guys ever. And just, you know, you guys are the reason that I'm here watching you guys do stand-up and keep it so real. And that kind of leads me to my first question.
Don't it feel good to stand there?
Man, we're here. We're here, and it's because of guys like you that were just blazing trails. I remember, like, you come through to the old Miami Improv, and like there would be a buzz a couple weeks before. That's where I started my career. There'd be a buzz before you got there. So you still shining on Netflix right now. And that's my question, because different from back then, kind of pre-internet times, now you have to know that when you're on stage, people are recording what you say. And as the kids say, you got to secure that bag. So are you worried about saying something on stage that's going to affect your job, you know, as an actor or Hollywood and all that stuff?
Well, you know, now that I got a hit show on TV, I'm definitely going to edit everything.
That's honest.
You know what I mean? I got something to lose. I mean, you know, the thing of it is we comics, and we walk a thin line when it comes to speaking our mind and having material, because how could you not be a comic and tell your truth? You know, it's kind of hard, man. So, you know, when I'm up there and I'm in it, you know, I just have to pray before I go up there, because sometimes I say stuff, but, you know, I don't talk about things that are going to hurt people's feelings, but I am truthful about myself and my surroundings.
Absolutely.
Mike, you're an Indiana guy, you're from the Midwest, and your new show takes place in the Midwest, The Upshaws. How much is it anything like your real life at all? Do you have any personal stories that you put into the show?
Oh, that's a tricky question. Yeah, I think it's a little bit too much about my real life. You know, when the writers was writing it, I said, man, they must have a private investigator on me or something, because I don't know how this stuff of my real life end up on the script. You know what I mean? But, you know, the writers, Regina Hicks and Wanda Sykes, they did a great job writing, and they made the characters really familiar. You know, they made my character familiar, and the kids. I mean, they made everybody's characters familiar to real people, and we haven't seen that on TV since Lord knows when. Good times back in those days. We come from the Norman Lear television shows, so
yes,
it was just great to be able to bring that same time in that we watch All in the Family and all of those shows when we were kids, and to be able to do it as an adult with Kim Fields and Wanda Sykes. What?
You guys are all hilarious. Do you get to improv at all, or do you guys have to stick to the script?
Oh man, it was definitely time to improv. But when you get great writers like Wanda Sykes and Regina Hicks, when it's on the paper, you barely have to go off the paper. You know, you barely have to go off the paper. And then we had veteran Kim Fields, man, who we seen on Facts of Life, and Living Single.
Kim has been in the studio. She's a friend of the show.
Kim has
We expect you to be in the studio too soon, man.
You need to come join us as well. Kim was a great addition to our table. She had a lot of great opinions to lend.
And yes, she is. She's a great woman and a great actress. And it was just a pleasure to have her.
Well, we're big fans, and we want you to come join us as well. And we're so proud of you. You can watch episodes of the Upshots.
Where's y'all studio at? Where's the studio
We're
at?
in Denver, if you can believe
just
it.
Whenever you play Comedy Works, or if you do a theater, if you do Paramount Theater, just come through.
I gotta come through, man. I love y'all, man. Y'all all look good. Y'all dress good, and y'all got really good questions. Thank you.
Thank you, my man.
Love it. We'll be right back. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Verify exists to bring you the full context for things you see on social media. For example, tweets like this saying that flu cases this past season dropped dramatically from 38 million to just over 2,000. So let's verify. Did the US see a drastic decline in flu cases in the most recent flu season? Our source is the CDC, which tracks flu statistics every year. And it turns out that this is true, but those numbers need some context. The CDC uses a complex mathematical model to estimate the number of flu cases and deaths every year based on a number of factors. They came up with 38 million cases and 22,000 deaths for the 2019-2020 flu season. But a CDC spokesperson told us that the flu cases, hospitalizations, and deaths were so low in the 2020-2021 season that the CDC can't calculate an estimate. The CDC website reports 1,899 cases based on their surveillance system, but the agency told us via email that this number does not capture every case. So while we can't verify the exact number of flu cases this past season, we can verify that the decrease in cases has been massive, from 38 million to a couple thousand. Now, the CDC says that this reduction is likely due to many factors, from decreased travel and shutdowns that kept people away from work and school, to social distancing and record flu shots administered. In the end, they say it's just difficult to track down which factor was most important. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov, 5 on your side.
Welcome back to DBL. When it comes to landscaping, did you know some improvement projects can actually hurt the value of your home? We're chatting about it in today's Bang for Your Buck, presented by The Hartford. Artificial grass is low maintenance, but the grass wears out quickly and the replacement cost is pricey. Water features can actually decrease your home value by $2,000 to $10,000. Finally, avoid a big concrete patio. Rain will easily collect in puddles and can put visitors in danger when they're playing in those puddles, apparently. But a well-maintained garden, trees, and lighting can boost your home's value. When it comes to quality and affordable home insurance, the Buck's got your back. The Hartford will be happy to provide you solutions. Call the Hartford at 1-800-684-6085 or visit thehartford.com to learn more.
Darn.
Those puddle patio parties, you gotta watch out.
Two things that just busted a bubble because I've always wanted to be one of those people with the artificial grass in the back. But then also what could depreciate your house as well is a basketball court. Oh, because some buyers, you know, it could be an older couple or whatever. It's like, why do we need a basketball court?
I would never need a basketball court.
What? Sometimes when you have too many things, then you're just like, put in a basketball court. You know what I mean? Like, you ever see like mansions with tennis courts? How many times do you think they played tennis? None.
To be fair, one of my best friends had a tennis court and never went on it.
There you go.
Never went on it, to be fair. But they had a swimming pool and always.
But you need that, like if you're like the Beverly Hills mansion, 2 tennis courts, a pool. I was using an accent. Look, did I offend you?
The guy does a couple DIY projects, and now he's got all these.
Hey, I went from artificial grass on my balcony to a nice backyard.
Hey,
look at me. Come on.
I like that.
Well, that was the end, but we still have 9 seconds. I'll just do it anyway. DBL is new every day. We'll be back tomorrow, guys. Same time, same place. Stick around for 2 more seconds.